Hello and welcome to this edition of Sirpeter. Today we explore the topic proactive citizenry and government accountability. We look at the role of the electorate in ensuring that the dividends of democracy is actually democratized to them and that the realization of the common good reaches the nooks and crannies of all aspects of the country. Then we equally explore, on the other hand, the role of leaders in ensuring that the mandates given to them by the people are actually delivered in a way that fosters the common good. And with me to discuss this today are Ada Hilda. Ada Hilda is a humanitarian, a teacher, and a counselor who is a co-founder of a civil society organization that is devoted towards good governance. Then we have Sixtus Ebina Radebene, who is equally an African Democratic Congress youth leader for Cross River State. Welcome, all of you, to the show. Ada, welcome to the show.
And thank you for having me. Thank you, Mr. Peter. Thank you for having me.
Okay, Sixtus, welcome to the show. Okay. All right, let's move up in earnest. When we talk about proactive citizens, what do we mean, Sixtus? What does it mean to be a good citizen?
Hello.
Hello, George.
Oh, hi, my brother. I've just been sent
Okay.
another link to join.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we can't hear Sixtus. So, but this question goes directly to you now. There is
Okay.
this saying that by Professor Chidi Odinkalo, who is the founder of the Open Society Foundation, he said that bad governance is the root cause of our backwardness in Nigeria. How true or false is this statement?
Okay. I think the gentleman is not wrong at all. Saying that, because from what we have seen on ground today, bad governance is all about bad leaders, and evidence is all over the place. We keep electing people that comes in and does things in a different way, and that is why we haven't progressed. We have not made much progress, in all our years of democracy to date, and it will continue to happen if we don't change the way we do things. We have to always look at the individuals that we select to lead us in this country. Because if there's no point electing people that doesn't know what they're doing, what they're going in there for. They go in there and they do things that's only about them and their family members without thinking about the poor masses, the people that voted them in. So he's absolutely correct for saying that bad leaders are the cause of bad governance in Nigeria. I totally agree with him.
Okay, building on that particular foundation, the former CBN governor, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, said that we need a civil war in government and that we need people who will fight change. My question is, who are these people who are expected to fight for the change?
I didn't get your questions
Our question is that
properly.
the former CBN governor, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, said that we need a civil war in government. Of course, we see that bad governance is the cause of our backwardness. So you say that we need a civil war in government. That is, we need people who fight for change. The question is, who are the people expected to fight for the required change in government?
Okay, thank you for that question. The answer is quite simple. We have a very tight knit, close communities, in Africa. Back in the days, we grew up, majority of us grew up in communities where everybody knew everyone. Your family name speaks for you. Wherever you are, that name follows you around. But things have changed now. And that is why we keep bringing in people that does not have good foundation to do things for the general public. And that's never going to work, right? If you elect certain people with a very good foundation, good upbringing, and knows what it takes to maintain a family name, they will go in there and do what they are asked to do. But when you keep bringing in people, when you look around, you see the caliber of people in government these days. These are not the people that you want to associate with. It's all about who is in there and what can you offer to people around you. It's all about proper accountability. And that is where we are lacking. We are lacking behind seriously. And if nothing is done urgently about all these things, people will continue to suffer. And that is not what we want anymore. So Lamido Sanusi is quite right that we need revolution, civil war, in governance.
Yeah.
But we have to start identifying those right individuals that would go in there and make that desired change, not people that will go in there and continue with the status quo. That's not what we want.
Okay, Ada, let me come to you. What are the essential qualities, of effective leadership? And how can good leaders provide good governance for the people?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Peter, for having. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go ahead.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for that question. I want to state categorically that what we have in governance today is a direct reflection of the society. If the society begins to have what we call revolution of the mindset, because you find out that a lot of us are the ones who go to the polls to make the decision of voting the wrong people in. So if you want to have good governance, then you must have the right mindset to choose whomever you think is capable and has the ability and capacity to run good governance and to deliver good governance to the people. So I will answer your question by saying that one of the qualities that we think or we know that is that qualifies someone to run for a public office should be integrity. And another quality is accessibility. If this person does not have integrity, we have had in previous times where people promises a lot of things and give their manifestos and say a lot of things that they know they don't have the ability to deliver. At the end of the day, you hear them say that was election promise. It's one of those things when it comes to politics. We don't want to have these things repeated again. So we are saying that we want people who we can hold accountable. People we can hold them account to their words. They say a thing and they deliver. If they don't deliver, we question them. Or you said you were going to do this and we thought you're a man or a woman of integrity. So I think accessibility, integrity is one of those things I find essential when we are choosing who will govern us as a people. Thank you.
just like a follow-up, you talked about the fact that the state of our leadership is a direct reflection of the society we live in. So my question is, what are the qualities do you expect from people who reside in Nigerian society in order to cause the revolution we need in the leadership architecture of Nigeria?
Okay, thank you. I want to state here that what we have during the NSAS was a direct reflection of anger from the part of the citizen to end police brutality. And that is geared towards the revolution that we are talking about, because people are beginning to realize that power belongs to the people. So if power belongs to you, what do you intend to do with that power? That's one question you should be asking yourself as a citizen of Nigeria. We find out that people are good at what's it called? They are good at the social media advocacy. Elections are not held in social media domains. The campaigns are not, even if they do campaigns there, the real thing that we look out for every individual who comes to vie for any political office are the one-on-one encounter, the engagement that you have with this person. So we're saying that there are a lot of qualities we look out for you as an individual, because for you to choose a leader, that means you have the right mindset to do that. Just like Barrister George earlier stated, you know, most of us don't even know what it takes to choose the right people for us. So I'm saying that if we have to choose or to elect people that will represent us in all spheres of government, in all tiers of government, then we ourselves should undergo what I call mental or cognitive restructuring. We should start seeing things differently. If you must do things differently, you must start seeing things differently. And when you start seeing things differently, you must then approach things differently. So that's my take on that.
Okay, Barrister George,
Yes.
I think that said that we need a cognitive and mental restructuring on the part of the citizens in order to help out in building a good governance ecosystem of the country. So my question is, whose responsibility is it to orchestrate this mental and cognitive revolution that will transport to our social political affairs so that the human good can be realized?
Okay. Thank you for that question, Peter. I think that the best people to orchestrate that are the citizens. You know, they are the people that all these things comes to directly, and they should champion the whole idea to change the quality of life that is being given to them. And the government, people in government will always fight for them to retain this power. But to be honest with you, I've said this before and I'm going to say it again today. The Nigerian youths should realize today that the future belongs to them. The present and the future belongs to them, and is now. So they should stop listening to people that comes out to tell them that, oh, the future belongs to you. That future is now for them. You know, they should stand up and start asking questions. A lot of them are not asking questions. You know, a lot of them are doing things that does not impact in, you know, their future or directly give them positive, you know, vibes in any way at all. They go on social media instead of them to be using those tools in a very positive way. They use it to do things that are not necessary. So we need to start getting our priorities right, and that is what should be the topmost where every youth in this country is. They have to start saying to themselves, we can't continue living like this anymore. We can't continue be taking peanuts from the people in government. It's time for us to bring about that proper change and do things that will bring in the change. because power is not given. This is one thing everybody should understand. It's taken. You have to be hungry for that power, and you have to go for it. If you don't go for it, nobody's gonna. No, all these governors, all these people in power, they won't sit down and say to you, "Okay, I'm tired of this. Come and take it." No, you have to do something. You have to make steps for you to get those things from them. So my advice to all the Nigerian youths is to stand up and ask questions, demand for good governance and better quality of life. You know, every minute you put on the television, you hear how many of black African youths dying in the ocean, crossing over to Europe and North America and where wherever else they want to go to. These are not things that we should be talking about in this 21st century. We have enough in Africa. We need to tap into all these things and make everybody enjoy. This 21st century, there are so many things that we should be doing, we could be doing to make our lives better in this society. Africa is the best place to be. Africa is the best place to be. And we have to make it work. So
Okay.
for things to change, the youth have to demand for it. They have to stand up and request for things to change for them. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Barrister, for that. 6-2s, Rademene, I have to come to you. Already, you are actively engaged in the political arena as a state youth leader. So my question to you is, it's possible that citizens can actually be an obstacle to good governance? And if it is so, how can citizens be an obstacle to good governance?
Pete, is that a question for me?
That question is for 6-2s, Rademene. I don't know if you can hear me, but if you go ahead, Barrister, and do justice to this question.
Can you ask the question again, please? I didn't hear that.
We noted that Nigeria's underdevelopment is, the fault of the leaders as well as that of the followers. So my question is, what is the interplay between government accountability, that is the inaccountability we have in government, and our passive citizenry? Could it be that the cause of our development is actually bad followership than most times as we ascribe it to poor leadership?
Thank you for the question. And my answer to that is that everybody, to be honest with you, everybody is guilty, of what is happening in this country. Because we've always believed in me, myself, and I. Once I'm happy, every other person can go to, places, and nobody cares. So if we are going to blame, we'll blame the government, for bad leadership. We also have to blame ourselves for bringing in people that we know that we're not good enough, qualified enough, have the capacity to lead us. And we continue to do the same thing. I think this has played out in all the elections that we've seen in Nigeria to date. People are called, they're given bags of rice, they've given tomatoes, they've given all sorts of things. They've given money, they've been given money to vote for people that they themselves are 100% aware that will not deliver the mandate, given to those candidates. And they come back to cry about the poor leadership. So we're all guilty of the whole thing that's happened here. Until we start selecting and electing the right people to lead us, everybody will continue to cry. Just look at the whole society. Everywhere is totally in shambles. When absolute shambles everywhere. Is it the healthcare sector in Nigeria? Are you going to talk about that? The roads, infrastructure, the education. Some people, I read somewhere today in one of the the news newspapers about some part of Nigeria being given free exams, to free exams, for students over up there to do the exams without payment, and some people are charged to do those exams. So we are all guilty of what's happening in Nigeria. So you can't. Yes, you blame the government. We blame them and blame them. We have to blame ourselves, we the citizens as well. So everybody should take the blame. So if we're going to do something good and positive, everybody has to stand up, come on board, and say enough is enough. We want a proper change, and that's the best way to do it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so very much. Ada, Hilda, I come to you with this question. We know that there is a policy of women leadership across Nigeria. In fact, in some states, you have as less than one or two females who are in the state assembly. If you go to the assembly today, they have been unable to raise a female senate president and others. So there is position of women in leadership, and we have never had an elected female government in Nigeria. So my question is, I mean that women constitute a major block of the voting population. So my question is, how can women leaders contribute
What about
in Nigeria and Africa at large?
Oh, okay, thank you, Mr. Picha. This question is one of the things that's really giving me worries and concerns lately. The issue of women not participating in governance or in politics is something that everyone should be worried about. Like, we understand that women are builders. I'm an advocate for women. So I always say women are builders. If you give them nothing, they yet make something out of it. In that regard, why women, where there's a low turnout in women participating in politics, it is because women have not had safe spaces in the political terrain. Why I say so is you find out that there are so many things that they are masculining about when it comes to politics. They will tell you this position is not for a female, this position is not for a woman. And those kind of things create unsafe spaces for women to participate in politics. We have an issue where a woman who is a local government chairman somewhere in Rivers State months ago, she was assaulted by some youths. I don't know if they are yet to be identified, just because she's a woman. I don't think that can be done to a man. So things like this, give women reason not to participate in politics. And with the fact that we have more women coming out on election days, I've participated in majority of the elections in Nigeria. I've participated as an electorate, and I've also participated as an election observer. And I understand that the majority of the turnouts that we have on election days are females. So in that case, you'll be asking, why is it that women fail to come out en masse to participate in politics? It is simply because women have not been given the safe spaces when it comes to political terrain in Nigeria. Thank you.
Okay. 60, are you there? 60, if you are there, let us know so that you can take your question. Can you hear 60?
I can't hear him.
Okay.
I can't hear him.
Okay, my next question should have got to 60, but I will go to you now, Barrister. Barrister, how to what extent strength. Is it right? You know, Malcolm once said that what Africa needs, you know, it's not strong men, but strong institutions. So to what extent is it right to say that what we need is not strong men, but strong institutions in order to promote the common good? Or is it an interplay of both strong men and strong institutions? Or what we actually need? Is it strong men or strong institutions or both?
Thank you for that question. For me, Pete, I think that what we need in Nigeria is both. We need strong men and strong institutions. Why I say that is that we need men with integrity, yeah, with capacity, with understanding that governance is all about the people. You go out there, whatever you do, whatever decision you're making it so that it will impact on people that have elected you in a positive way. And also the institutions needs to be made stronger so that when people go in there, they know that they are there to serve. And there should always be proper guidelines in those institutions, because what we have today, you know, is just people that comes up and they're put in all those different parastatals. They go there and they continue with the status quo because people that have been there and came out did things wrongly, nothing happened to them. So we need to start setting examples that when you go into such institutions, go there and you serve. And if you don't serve, people will make you to account for every single day you spent in there as the head of service. Until we do those things, the usual thing will continue to happen. So we do need strong men that stand on what they say they are going to do and do those things, and institutions that will checkmate them as well. So once we have rules and regulations guiding those institutions, proper rules and regulations, not the Nigerian rules and regulations, you know, because we know that rules and regulations are broken in this society on a regular basis and nobody cares and nothing is done to the people that break those rules and regulations. So until we start doing those things, checkmating people, nothing is going to change. You know, we need to stand up sometimes and call a spade and not a garden tool. We know that things are broken down completely in this society. Until we all tell ourselves the truth about this society, nothing will ever change. So we need both to work hand in hand. Strong people and strong institutions. That's what we need. So that is my answer to that question.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for that amazing answer. So, Ada, you are coordinator for Anambra Youth Movement for Better Governance, right?
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
You are the state coordinator for Anambra Youth Movement for Better Governance.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. We have had numerous civil society organizations who are devoted to the cause of good governance, like people who have advocated for reducing the money of governance, the not use drug movement.
Please, can you quickly take that again? Can you quickly take that again?
We had
okay.
Civil society Nigeria devoted to good governance. You know, of which yours, the Anambra Youth Movement for Better Governance is one of them. So my question is, what is the role of CSOs like yours in ensuring good governance in Nigeria?
Okay, please, Barrister George, please, can you mute your mic, please? Okay, let me quickly attend to that question. You said there are so many civil society groups, and too many stories has been said, and too many stories keep telling us. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Anambra Youth Movement for Better Governance was Barrister George's initiative, and when he came up with that brainchild, discussed with me, and I felt there was need for us to swing into action immediately, and we started something. We have been able to identify our core goals and objectives, and which we are committed to seeing that we achieve every one of them as we go on. Because quite understandably, it is the challenges out there are numerous to mention. And like it's usually been said that so many pressure groups come up, and when they are being enticed with money, you see them keep quiet and they begin to withdraw. Anambra Youth Movement for Better Governance is one of its kind. It is not like the normal or the usual pressure groups that we used to have. So we are committed to bringing to accountability everyone in the public and the private in the public government sector, both elected and selected, because we have found out that we as a people, we just had an election some few weeks ago, and Anambra State indigenes came out en masse, even if we're being disenfranchised due to the BVAX device, but yet quite a lot of people actually voted, and those who voted stood in one voice to elect somebody we found worthy to be in the government house to occupy the seat of the governor's office of Anambra State, and our mandate has been given to him. We are looking forward to have him in office in March, come March 15th, while he'll be inaugurated into office and assume office immediately. From there, we will swing into action immediately and begin to, because there are so many lacunas in government. We all know that. And for us to keep quiet, fold our hands and act like nothing is happening, that makes us complicit to all the atrocities that is being committed against everyone indigene of our dear state, which is the light of the nation. Okay, so we're committed, and we have our programs already lined up for as we run with them. And we are saying that everyone Anambra youth is also committed to seeing that everyone who has occupied office, because we are not just starting with the new government. The new government will start up, and while we follow up as they begin their government, we also pay attention to the previous, the outgoing, then it will become an outgone. And we're also paying attention to them. We're ensuring that every one of them is brought to book. If there are misappropriations of public funds, if there are embezzlement of public funds, they will all be brought to book and to justice. And that is why Anambra Youth Movement for Better Governance is actively available in Anambra State.
Okay, that's very amazing. Sisters, can you hear us? Sisters, can you hear us now? Afel. Okay. Barrister, let me come back to you. You know, you just spoke about strongmen versus institutions in Nigeria. My question is, why is corruption still prevalent in Nigeria, despite the numerous anti-corruption agencies and institutions we have in Nigeria?
Okay, thank you for that question, Peter. Why corruption is still prevalent in Nigeria is a question that I honestly do not know the correct answer to give to you now. Corruption has been part of us, and I'll tell you now that corruption was introduced to this society by our colonial masters, the British people. And that has been with us to date. The problem we have in most of the institutions that we run in this country is that the institutions are not strong, like we mentioned earlier. And that is why people, citizens who go in there, they'll do all sorts. You see civil servants uh, driving big cars that their salary, cannot afford, live in big houses that their salaries, even their gratuity, cannot afford. And nobody says anything about it until we start checkmating people that are given positions in this society to serve. The whole thing will continue to happen. We've tried different anti-corruption institutions in this country, and none of them has worked. And it's very easy to understand the reason why those institutions hasn't worked, because the individuals that are put in those institutions to do the work are all Nigerians, and they go in there, some of them with good intentions. They go in there and start off doing all the beautiful things like, what we saw with the former EFCC chairman, Ribadu. He went in there, started doing an amazing job. But after a while, we found out that he was being used by his paymasters, to witch hunt the political opponents. And that has been the case. We've had cases in Nigeria where EFCC will pick up cases that they haven't done proper due diligence on, and they come out with information to mislead the public. And I've said severally that they should really, really get in proper advices to advise them on how to handle matters. Because you can't come out and tell the public one thing today and tomorrow you're doing a different thing. We have had individuals as occupied positions in Nigeria well known to have embezzled public funds. Those people are walking around freely in the country and nobody says anything, and every day you get, you turn on the television, the radios, you hear about EFCC going to detain this person, arrest that person. At the end of the day, nothing is achieved. It's all about chasing shadows. And we're tired and fed up of all these things. If we're going to fight corruption, we know the people in this society that has impoverished Nigerians. They're not hidden. You and I know that. I can't mention names here, but people that have been selected to serve, and they have stolen all the, our collective wealth, and nothing's happened to them. So we need to tell ourselves the truth. If we're going to fight corruption, we know the right thing to do. We know how to follow all those things, and we know the people to go to. So that's my take on that. Thank you.
Okay, wow, that's quite amazing. So, but I want to meet you, Ada, for this question. This question has to do with e-governance. E-governance, that is electronic governance, where most of the things done in the governance ecosystem is actually published and acceptable and accessible for online, where you can know what your representative of the constituency is doing, so that you can actually question with regard to whatever is doing. So my question is, as a advocate for good governance, how can citizens help to foster e-government so as to improve accountability in Nigeria?
Okay, thank you for that question. I feel the only way we can assist governments to e-governance activities is if you have to criticize, do your criticism constructively. If you have to take any government official to the social media, which is regarded as the court of public opinion, do it constructively. Because most times we find out that people say a lot of things online, that's uninformed data out there. You put out things that you have not verified, and this is not how to go about it. The only way we can demand accountability of office is by getting ourselves into governance itself. If you don't participate, there is no way you can make any decision. There is no way you can be part of the people who are demanding. For instance, let's take a look at the previous election that was held in Anambra State. A lot of people said they were not going to vote. And tomorrow, the same individuals will come out to say, we are tired of the government. They are doing this, they are doing that. They are not giving good governance, no social justice, no social welfare, which is the responsibility of every elected government. But not for, they are for always quick to forget that when they were supposed to go out to cast their vote, which is engaging in their constitutional civic duty, most of them were nowhere to be found. So if you must demand good governance or assist to demand good governance, what you are supposed to do is to get yourself into the system, into governance itself. You can't be outside the compound and be dictating what happens or what goes on within the compound. So you must be in the compound to ascertain what happens there. So that's my take, my little take on the way we can assist government to assess accountability.
Wonderful, I must confess. Barrister George, the foundation of democracy is the rule of law, as propagated by Professor A.V. Daisy, when he noted that powers are being shared between like the three arms of government, the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary. So my question is, how can these three arms of government actually checkmate each other within a Nigerian milieu? Because there seems to be a collusion among them in actually robbing the people of the common good. How can we ensure that the three arms of government does their work of checkmating, one another?
Thank you so much for that question, Peter. To be quite honest with you, we don't have that separation of powers in Nigeria. And you and I know that because the executive is the Lord and Master when it comes to governance in Nigeria. And that is why we are where we are today. The judiciary is not doing as well as they are expected to do because they rely on the executive to give them all the necessary tools to do the work. The legislature is there, but they are not doing what they should do for the society. And that is why I said that we do not have a proper separation of power in our society of today. And when you look around, you would find out that what I've just said now are all verifiable facts. We have a legislature that sees everything wrong with the executive. Instead of them to take action, they just sit down and have a couple of drinks with the executives and matter ends there. And that is why there are so many bills sitting in that house and nothing tangible has happened for the common citizens of this country to have any positive change.
Okay.
in the society. The executive, they do what they want to do, and they have the cake. Whoever they feel like giving a slice of the cake, they give it to them. And that is why the judiciary is suffering. And we all know that judiciary is suffering. Have you been to the courts in Nigeria? Have you been to the magistrate courts, the high courts, appeal courts in Nigeria? You need to visit all those places to see what is happening in the judiciary. So we have a very big problem, and we need to tell ourselves the truth about the situation, the realities on ground. Because what one thing with our people is that nobody wants to say the truth. Well, a lot of people want to say the truth, but they are scared to say the truth because of the fear of the unknown. But you know what? We have to start telling ourselves the truth, because that truth is the only thing that can change things in our society. And if it's not done, I'm afraid everybody will continue to suffer. And that is absolutely wrong, because Nigeria is a society, is a country that is blessed with so many things. But the leadership and the citizens, like I said earlier, because it's not just the people in government, the citizens are also part of the failed system that we have today. So the truth is that we don't have a proper separation of power in Nigeria, and that's the truth. And you can ask, make your own research, and you'll know the truth. So that is my take on that. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Barrister George. Adam, I would like, as an advocate for women and youth, so I'd like you to offer your words of advice to women and youth when it comes to being proactive as citizens of Nigeria.
Okay, thank you. My last words or my words of advice for women and youth is that you don't need to be neutral. You have to get into the podium. You have to take power. While you take power, you must participate in taking of power. A lot of people wants to do things their way. Things cannot be done oftentimes your way. The right way to do things when you must be proactive, because it is our duty. Citizens' proactiveness engages a great clear path to good governance. If we must have good governance, if we must experience good governance, it is our right to create great clear paths for good governance. So it is our duty. I use this medium to charge our youths and women, go get your PVC. 2023 is around the corner. We must participate fully and get involved so that we can enjoy the good governance that we so desire. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ada. Sisters, can we hear you now?
I am hearing you guys very, very clearly.
Wow. Good to have you.
Thank you so much.
Welcome back, Festus.
Oh, finally, I've been part of the show.
Yeah, Sixtus is the state youth leader for African Democratic Congress and the former chief liaison officer for the National Youth Service Scheme in Kwara State. So, Sixtus, as someone who has had encounter with people in public offices in different dimensions, can you describe to us what challenges it is like working with people in public office when it comes to bringing about good governance or delivering the democratic dividends to the people of any state you've worked?
Yes, I must say that. The people you have in our public offices, so many of them do not even know the reason why they are in offices. I am telling you nothing but the truth. I met a House of Assembly member in Kwara State while I was trying to embark on my personal CDS project. I met the man, the community I served, they have never gained access to potable water before. So I took it upon myself to see how I can use that as my personal CDS project to give those people water. So along the line, I met a House of Assembly member. I told him that I made a video. I showed to this man. I told him that, sir, your people are suffering in Bashita. These people don't have water, and that is the cause of the high rate of waterborne diseases in that community. So when I told this man the plight of these people, this man has the temerity to tell me that if he should support that project, that his people in his community will not be happy with him. So I asked him, sir, but this community is part of your constituency. This community is in your local government. He said, my people will get angry at me if I support the project. If I give these people water, my people will be angry with me. So I came to discover that so many of the people we have in our public offices, they don't even know their roles. They don't even know their responsibilities in those offices they occupy. And it's a terrible situation. It's a very terrible, it's a serious situation. Like the question you asked earlier, before I had network issues, if the problem of Nigeria is leadership. Our problem in this country is just leadership. Some people are saying that our problem is as a matter of end time. My brother, it's not end time. We don't have leaders. We don't have leaders in this country. They said we are preparing for the coming of Christ. That is why things are so difficult. My brother, our problem is leadership. We don't have leaders. These people are just handpicked. In Cross River State, where I am, we are suffering because the governor handpicked the members of House of Assembly. The governor handpicked all the governors in all the 18 local government area. I talk this thing, I say this thing with passion because we have found ourselves in a situation whereby we cannot even help ourselves out of our problems. A sitting governor will have all the House of Assembly members in his pocket. Chairmen, all of them are in his pocket. The chairmen now don't even know why they are called chairmen. House of Assembly don't even know why they are called members of House of Assembly. We are just, nothing is working in Nigeria. Nothing is working. I say this thing with passion because the youths that are supposed to change the narrative, youths are after money. I am a youth leader of a political party. Please, I don't know. Let me just flow. I don't even permitted, sir.
Yes, flow, please.
I am a youth leader of a political party, and I know I always have this engagement with youths. But with the reaction I always have from the youth is very negative. Our youths are not ready to make the change. Our youths are just after people that will give them 500 naira, a bottle of beer, people that will buy them Indian hemp and cigarette to drink. Our youths are not serious. Our youths are not serious. Few minutes ago, there was a video I just came across on social media where a politician was trying to divert from the main road that is bad. He was trying to use another community to make his movement. The people in that community blocked the road and asked him to go back. Let him go back and use the same road that they have refused to fix. My brother, the problem of Nigeria is just leadership. How I wish our youth will rise up and say enough is enough. But I believe with our consistent engagement with our youth, by the special grace of God, one day, our youth will one day rise up and demand for accountability. Our youth will one day rise up and demand for justice. They will rise up one day and demand for good governance. Are you hearing me, Mr. Peter?
Yes, we are hearing you. Go ahead.
Okay. You see, Comrade Ada is my very good friend. I came across her advocacy movement. I came across her advocacy movement and I was so impressed. I was so impressed. In fact, after this show, I am going to launch my own advocacy movement in my own community. I learned it from her. I learned it from her. Okay, how I wish we can have this same advocacy movement for good governance in all the 774 local government areas that we have in Nigeria. Our advocacy has to leave the state. We have to go to the grassroots. We want to start mounting pressure on the councillors in the communities. We need to start mounting pressure on those chairmen in the community, in our local government. When we start mounting pressure on the councillors will start mounting pressure on the local government chairman. The local government chairman will start mounting pressure on their House of Assembly members. House of Assembly will start mounting pressure on House of Reps. The advocacy, we want to start it from the grassroots. After this program, I am going to launch the advocacy group in Abi local government area that I tagged how did I tag it? Baumono Advocacy Group for Good Governance. Baumono Advocacy Group for Good Governance. My brothers, you will be shocked to hear that in my community, we don't have good water. I am from Usumuton. In my own community where I am, we do not have good water. We do not have accessible road. We do not have light. Nothing is functioning in Cross River State. But we have councillors. We have local government chairmen. We have House of Assembly members. We have House of Reps members. We have senators. But nothing is functioning. Yes.
Your governor is a professor, right?
My governor is a professor. My governor is a professor. His deputy is a professor. We have 2 professors. Nothing is working, my brother. Cross River State, nothing is happening. And we must start talking. We must start talking.
Can I, Peter, can I say something quickly in relation to what our brother have just said now? Let me just point this out now. Yes, education and all these educational certificates, they are part of the failed system we have in Nigeria up to date, because our colonial masters brought in education and told us that once you have educational qualification and certificates, that all our problems will be solved. And that has not been the case till date. We've tried all these things. We've seen so many of all these people. My brother just mentioned that his governor is a professor, his deputy is a professor. These people go to abroad, the best universities in the whole world. When they come back to Africa, everything fails. And that goes to tell us that African problems can only be solved by Africans and African way of doing things. Forget about all this PhD. We have PhDs all over the place. We have professors all over the place. And yet, look at the people we put in government to lead us. What does that tell you? That's why I said it's not only the government, the citizens as well have failed themselves. So we have to take blame. We all have to take the blame for the failure in governance in Nigeria. So we have to start telling ourselves that acquiring different educational certificates will not solve our problems in Nigeria and in Africa. We need to tell ourselves the truth. It hasn't worked. Over these years, it has not worked. So let us try and do things in a different way so that we can get a different result. We can't continue to do the same things and expect a different result. So that's my take on that. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Sister, just one more word before you go. What is your advice as a youth leader to youths across Nigeria?
Okay. First of all, I want to encourage our Nigerian youth. Are you hearing me, Mr. Peter?
Yes, we are hearing you.
Hello. I want to encourage our Nigerian youth to forget about the money politics. Let us forget about the money politics and look for a way of changing the narrative. We need to come together irrespective of our political affiliation. As we speak, I work with APC youth, I work with PDP youth, I work with youth in XDP. We should forget about our political affiliations and come together as one and fight for a just cause. That is my last word for the youth. Let us forget about our political affiliations and come together for a just cause.
Okay. Thank you so much, Barrister
Thank
George, Adahida, and 60 for joining today's show. Sirpeter show is actually devoted to ensuring that we give people voices to express opinion as it pertains to in our society, so that the cause for the realization of the common good shall be a positive one. So, and thank all our viewers and for those who are going to watch this show subsequently to listen to the advice our panelists profile. That from Dr. Women on how we should participate in governance. That from Barrister George on how we should demand accountability and how the leaders should rise up to their responsibility. And that of 60s, which means that as much as possible, let all of us engage in advocacy for good governance and demanding accountability. And we encourage you to hit the subscribe button so that to receive updates for subsequent programs of Sirpeter Show. We thank all our audience and say, see you next time. Have a wonderful day.
All right.
Thank you all
Thank
for
you.
having me.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Thank you.
enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Sirpeter, thanks
Bye.
for having us. Thank you. Bye.
Take care,
Thank you. Bye.
everybody. Bye.